stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Racers Elite Truck Series. We are live here from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. This is the Sim Racing Media Network. I am your broadcaster tonight, Angel Santiago. Not your normal voice here on Tuesday nights, but it is an absolute honor and pleasure to be bringing this show to you tonight. And I'm joined today by Shane Lake. Shane, how are we doing tonight, buddy?
I am excited to be north of the border for another great Truck Series race. We're on a 2.5 mile circuit that, if it's one thing these trucks hate being, it's technical, and you're going to have to be to get around here successfully tonight.
Yeah, this is a 10-turn course, definitely, and as you mentioned, a larger one at that. Let's go ahead and bring up that overall graphic for everybody to see. 2.4 miles overall for the track length. The overall ambient temperature 68 degrees, but that track temp's going to be 93. That's going to be a little warm for these tires for these trucks tonight.
Well, with 4 tires sitting on pit road for everybody, I think they'll be able to manage just fine. But they're going to have to take it easy towards the end of their tire stint, because you lock one of these tires up, especially over in Moss Corner going down to get ready into Andretti Straight, you're going to have a problem later on.
And we'll be going through those turns, and we'll have an opportunity for Shane really to be able to describe your opportunities, of course, throughout this course. Far better than I might. Not one that I'm too familiar with. Maybe only competed on a handful of times, and I probably didn't enjoy myself because, you know what, I'm just no good at it. So.
Hey, not everyone can be a road course racer, trust me.
Well, it definitely. I've gotten much better since then. Still a lot of work to go, but wow, yeah, no, definitely not an enjoyable time for me. But you know what? These drivers, we have, man, a pretty good list of them. I seem like almost 20 drivers here tonight, if not more. Right? Wow.
I'm looking at about 21 drivers.
Yeah,
on the
21 drivers.
pylon.
Yes, 21 drivers here tonight. That is amazing, considering that much exactly. It is a road course, and most people tend to shy away from that. So nice to see that the Racers Elite Truck Series will be bringing to us 21 trucks here for this race. And you know what? It's not just 21 trucks showing up for the 9th race of the season, Shane. This is the regular season finale before 12 drivers have an opportunity to battle for a championship over the next couple of weeks.
And we have got a couple of very tight points races leading into this. So every position is going to count here. So that's why we have so many drivers in the field. There's still a lot of point swapping that can happen by the end of this race.
That's the nerve-wracking part of going to a road course. I feel like for probably most drivers who maybe aren't accustomed to it, but then you're gonna have your select few who, you know what, they just lick their chops when they see a road course on the schedule.
Yeah, I remember back one of my actual first truck series win in officials was back when the trucks were on the Daytona road course. So I kind of licked my chops a little bit myself, but I was driving a few practice laps this morning trying to get a feel for this place, and believe me, even I struggled. So there's going to be two words that everyone is going to be dreading that can happen with these trucks, and that's wheel hop.
Well, as qualifying's just actually finishing up. Keep that point in mind though, because wheel hop is as you mentioned, going to be a big topic for a lot of drivers tonight, and I definitely don't want to leave these maybe viewers a little confused as to what that might be. So we'll have an opportunity to go over that. But right now, these drivers getting ready to start this race. They're going to get all lined up on the front stretch. They'll have 2.5 miles to go around this track before they go green. And thus, that'll have plenty of an opportunity for us to go over our starting grid tonight.
And we have got a very, very strong field tonight when it comes down to this starting grid. I'm looking over the times right now, and there was a massive separation, believe it or not, inside the top 5 time-wise. So we're going to see comers and goers this race.
And I think, as you mentioned, where these drivers are going to have to be managing their tires at the end of these tire stints, and how some of these drivers even talked about, will this be a 1 or a 2 stopper for tonight's race, where it's 22 laps, and you said that 22 laps is going to be a stretch, and it's a 45 lap race, but sometimes you're just going so much slower than everybody else that you might only have to pit once.
Right. The fact is, fuel around here, 22 laps, you're looking at going 22, then 23. But the slower guys may be able to stretch that into 23, 24. But the difference is their tires are going to be gone by the time they get to the end of that, whereas everyone else who may have pitted maybe 3-4 laps prior to them may have a little something for them at the end.
So, as a driver, Shane, what would you want to do then? I mean, what would your plan be? Are you gonna want to say, you know what, let's go ahead, be aggressive, take those 2 tires, or sorry, make those 2 stops, get the fresh tires on each, and try to make your way back through, possibly losing it in the process? I mean, or you go the other way where you try to stretch it, but then as you mentioned, you're on those old tires. So a lot can happen tonight.
Personal preference, I'm making this a 2-stop race. I want the stickers towards the end of this event when everyone else is going to be struggling on their older tires. I'm going to want that advantage late, because that's the only way you're going to get these trucks to maneuver through the field. You're going to want tires. I'm taking 2 sets.
All right, Shane's going to take 2 sets. I might think I want to go ahead and just take that one and see what kind of luck can I have fall in my favor. Matt Schlosser going to start on pole here tonight with a 122.6 just about. Andrew Teft going to start in second. Troy Thomas and Brandon Sanfilippo If I said that,
Filippo.
Filippo. Sorry about that, Brandon. Gonna start row number 2. Row number 3 belongs to Truth Hoke and Noah Tansman. Sean. Oh, I'm sorry. That's on me.
I got you, man. Sean Merriman and Zach Lockett will make up row 4. Row 5 is going to be Dennis Keane and Philip Archibald. Jason Bottoms and Alex Teft make up row 6. Kinsley Smith, who won in Las Vegas last time out, and Curtis Ecker make up row 7. Brandon Zimmerman, Trevor Woodward, row 8. Brandon Honeycutt, Lee Campbell, row 9. Kirby Wainscott and our own Alan Bergman will round out the field in those 10 rows.
All right. Well, we are excited here to have these drivers put down 45 laps of action here for the Racers Elite Truck Series. Getting ready to go green. They're just excited to see that iRacing.com pace truck hit pit lane so they can get started.
And my buddy Barney, the flagman's got the green flag waiting in his hands. I'm excited to be up north with you guys. SRM's excited to bring another great broadcast for you. And as that truck makes the hard right-hand turn, messieurs and mademoiselles, nous sommes vers the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
That was fantastic. Way better than I would have ever been able to put down there, Shane. The drivers, they extended there into turn number 1. Matt Slosher's got a great run going into turn number 2. They're going to get through 2A, hopefully, in one piece. And you got one already into the grass. And he's going to get a great recovery. Wow, great recovery. Those guys getting to the grass. Maybe it's just me. I'm really bad getting into the grass.
A lot of people are. And right now, the one thing that I'm noticing is Matt Schlosser actually took a little bit of a wider line to try to maximize the RPMs coming into Moss Corner here.
And why do you want to do that as a driver, you speaking of Matt doing so?
Because of the fact that it's going to be able to let you wind the motor a little bit more, keep a little bit more speed. Granted, you're going to be on the brakes a little bit harder, but you've also got the uphill going into Moss Corner to help slow the truck down. So you're actually a little bit easier on the brakes by the time you actually hit those 2 right-hand corners.
And then we have these, quick turns. And then we head into turn 8. A nice hard right, getting into these S's. What is your plan as a driver? You see Matt already now 1.5 seconds pulling away from Andrew Teft.
With these S's, the way I was driving them, I was just kind of resting my foot on the brake pedal going into turn 8. And then by the time I got towards the middle of it, I was a little bit harder on the brake pedal, downshifting in the second gear to try to set up turn 9. And then I was dropping in the first gear for white corner, turn 10.
Look at this field in the back, It's the best of the best are up front, but sometimes you have some of the best racing here in the back where these drivers are side by side. They are struggling. They don't know what to do. They are slipping and sliding. And yet at the same time, they're all just trying to be respectful as well around each other, because when this is a track, you got a track like a road course, so something that you're just not typically used to, you want to just stay out of everybody's way while also not trying to ruin your own day.
I think the biggest thing everyone's looking to do right now is find a little pocket between themselves and their competitors and just try to ride until they get through their first, maybe only pit stop, or if they decide to split the race into thirds, their first of 2. As you see Schlosser start to go down Andretti straightaway, you're going to see these trucks on this straightaway hit about 165 miles an hour before they get to the top of that hill, breaking into the S's.
That is unreal. That is a hard right to make there for that number 40, but he does it, almost with ease, and he just continues up through, getting really just nice, solid laps, and that's all he's looking for right now as your leader, just putting down solid laps, and here it is across the line now, lap number 3 already for him.
Yeah, he's checked out right now. I think he's just gone into race management mode. These guys have an eye on what the tires are doing, what the truck is feeling like. And if I was him, my strategy actually would probably be the same as yours. Just stretch it as far as possible, maybe try to take just one set of tires, and then if there's a problem later on, maybe take a second set late. But if he's got this strong of a truck now, he's probably only going to be on a one-stop strategy.
So we did already have our first incident of the evening where Brandon Honeycutt and possibly Jason Bottoms an incident. So we're going to go ahead and look on to this. So, you see the 5 is in the wall trying to come back up. And the third, I don't know if he was just trying to give him room, trying to get a good arc into the turn. But, man, you just touch that grass. That's all it takes for, your truck to get upset, especially when you're hard on the brakes at that moment in time.
again, and that was the problem with the 13 of Honeycutt. Those two dreaded words I mentioned earlier, wheel hop. It looked like he just got right on the brakes, and the back end got away from him as soon as those rear tires started shattering.
And I'm glad you brought it back up. So, you mentioned wheel hop. We know he got really hard on the brakes, and the back wheels just started chattering. Why is that happening? Explain that for our viewers as well, so they get a general idea for themselves. Oh man, that 40 is still sliding off of that last turn.
Well, the 40 is really starting to push it hard, but dealing with the wheel hop issue, the moment you get on the brakes, you're also trying to look for the downshift, the rev match. And if you're not matching the revs properly, the back tire is going to start literally hopping up and down off the ground. And by that point, you completely lost control of the truck. So you'll have to actually get off the brakes to settle the rear tires. And by doing so, you're going to end up overshooting the corner. So unfortunately, the 13, lost control. But the good news is there's enough runoff down in that area. He was able to grab it, bring it back, and he's still going with no damage done to that truck.
Yeah, and I think one of the these races, the biggest advice that I was, or probably the best advice I had ever been given is yes, you're trying to minimize your mistakes, but it's how you respond to those mistakes is what will determine how you finish that race. And it could be 4 to 5 spots of a difference. It's, yes, okay, you made a mistake, this is not your style of driving, fine, the best of the best are going to make that mistake. Just simply don't overdo it though. Don't start over panicking, and then that's where you just start making more mistakes. You lose your focus, and that's what can be a struggle for a lot of these drivers who are just really trying to manage their way through the next 42 laps.
Like I said earlier, one of my first wins in the truck series was when the trucks won the Daytona road course a couple of years ago. I actually crashed the truck first lap qualifying in the bus stop. I backed it clean into the wall, right on the inside going into that first right-hander. I was so upset with myself, I drove the rest of the qualifying angry, and I actually put the truck on the pole. So, needless to say, there's a couple of different thoughts about it, but you don't want to use your anger until the tail end, especially if you're battling with somebody, because it could get very, very interesting towards the end of this race when you're battling somebody, where you're going to end up catching them, because there's only a few passing spots on this track, and the biggest ones are 5A, 5B over there at Moss Corner, and then, of course, as we know, Turn 10 has seen its fair share of action as well.
See quite a few trucks getting through Moss A right there, and then through Moss B as just mentioned. And you see just so many different angles, that everybody's just trying to find what works for them. You see that 99 get really loose off, and that's Philip Archibald, who, that's running 10th right now. Awesome for him. He came in here, however, with one goal, and he's got to make the playoffs. And this is his opportunity to do so.
The biggest thing about this race is points management. You got to know where you are in the championship picture, because 12th through 14th was only separated by 16 points. So there's a possibility we could see a couple of people surprise their way into the playoffs, and somebody sitting on the outside.
Well, and mentioning Philip, he was 10 points ahead of Dennis Kane coming into tonight's race. And right now with Philip running in 10th, and then just across the screen you saw him, that was that number 4 truck of Dennis Kane. Actually, am I seeing this right? The only Ford we have in the field tonight.
You're seeing this correct. That Ford truck is the only Ford.
Right now we got a battle.
Yeah, we got the battle with last week's winner, Kinsley Smith, and Zach Lockett. These two locked horns pretty much the entire race at Las Vegas, and they're picking up right where they left off.
Yeah, Kinsley Smith is a man on the move right now, already up 4 spots from his 12th place starting spot. Not quite as big as Lee Campbell, however. He's up 6, having started back in 19th, now up to the 13th position. So, he's only got one way to go, and he's doing just that. And Alex Teft, right in front of him, that number 43 Toyota. He's another one of those drivers trying to find his way here into the playoffs. Just on the outside looking in, one of those drivers very close, and hoping for that opportunity tonight with, so many laps to go. As you mentioned, you really never know what could happen.
And that's the beauty of road course racing, the comers and goers. Some guys might surprise us at the end of this, and we'll be saying, well, where did they come from? and some of the favorites from weeks gone by will be down at the bottom of the order, and we'll be wondering, well, what happened? This is the reason why it was chosen as the regular season finale, is as it can make the point standings very topsy-turvy.
Yeah, I mean, and we typically hear about a super speedway, whether it be Daytona, Talladega, in throwing in there Atlanta now as it being such a wild card race for drivers to have a crazy opportunity to make it an exciting situation. But not many are willing to go and put a road course as their season finale and say, all right, you know what? We got any road course racers in here? You stick it out to the end of the regular season finale, and you'll have your shot to make the playoffs doing so.
Yeah, as you said, Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. We want to throw short tracks in there. Martinsville and Bristol have been used before in leagues to be a regular season finale because of how wild those races can be. Road courses separate the racers, and this is a good way to see who belongs in the playoffs.
And then you look at a driver like Matt. It's only be his 5th race, in 9 starts, and you have to wonder what would he be able to do for a championship if he was a full-time driver.
The way he's running right now, I would say he'd have a strong contention for a championship. But with him only running a part-time schedule, all these drivers have lives. We can't take away from that. So obviously something came up that wouldn't let him run the entire season. But he's showing right now he would be a force if he was full-time.
Yeah, exactly. We have lives. There's only so much that could possibly be done in those situations. But he's got a 9-second lead right now over Andrew Teft, who currently 5th in points. For those of you not even aware of that, so a 9-second lead on these drivers. He's got 2 wins in his 4 starts, so he's now looking to possibly make it 3 wins in as many in those 5 starts. And what's insane is he's also not finished outside of the top 10 in those 4 starts. That's what's insane to me. This is a driver who, my goodness, he could definitely be championship or is championship material coming across the line here, now completing lap number 9. Or I'm sorry, lap 8.
The one word that I can think of when it comes to that 40 truck right now, consistency. There is no doubt if he was running full time, he would definitely be towards the top, if not on top of the points pylon lead going into this race.
Yeah, I mean, and then you look at his wins. He started on pole at Lucas Oil, boom, takes home the victory 2 weeks ago. Previous to that, he started first at Eldora, finished 3rd. I mean, he didn't start on pole at Nashville, still went out and won that race. And then previous to that was Homestead, where he did start on pole for that one, and he finished 2nd. So I mean, it is just insane. Top 3 in each of these first 4 races, and really this was his 4th pole as well of the season. So he's showing absolute, I have to say, just overall quality of driver that, man, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to win at a short track like Lucas Oil, which is just not an easy one. Then goes out and does so well at a dirt track to go out there and do it in Nashville. So and here at a road course. So yeah, this is a driver who knows how to go fast.
He, just the way you were listing those racetracks off, reminds me a lot of Kyle Larson.
Yes.
At every single style of track, whether it's the short tracks, whether it's the dirt with Eldora, whether it's the intermediates with Nashville and Homestead, road course racing here at Mosport. This guy's got it tuned in no matter where he is, and he would definitely be a threat for the championship if he was going full time.
Yeah, I mean, and if he had 2 more starts in him, I think it's 7 here for this league. That would determine to be in the championship. So, but nonetheless, he's just going to go out there and be the best of the rest and doing a great job of it. So let's go ahead and see through some of these drivers as well through the field. We mentioned Andrew Teft right now in that 2nd position. He's got, well, as you can see, barely a 1-second lead over that number 88 of Troy Thomas. And so we got at least a nice close battle for 2nd at the moment between this Toyota and Chevrolet.
Yeah, and right now I'm also thinking a lot of these guys are just logging laps to get to those pit stops. And it looked like Troy Thomas may have a little bit of an edge on a couple of turns here, but right now the laps are relatively similar time-wise. I'm just thinking these guys are just logging, wanting to get through this as quickly as possible, just not make any mistakes, wait till the pit stop, and then the second half of the race, go wide open and see if they can start making moves towards the end.
Yeah, and that's where I'm thinking for a driver like Troy Thomas, and as you mentioned earlier on, how close the points is. He himself only had a 20-point advantage over that 13th place driver in Dennis Kane. So running up here in the top 3, great for him. But yeah, definitely just log your laps. Don't put yourself in a bad situation where you could possibly get knocked out, and when you're clearly one of the better road course racers in the series, at least in this race.
Yeah, and the one thing I noticed with Troy was that when we were going through watching him down into turn 1, he was actually with the left side tires on the curb hugging pit wall. So there's a couple of different lines you can take in these corners to try to maximize time, and it's a little bit cleaner towards pit wall. So maybe he's finding a little bit of grip where others aren't exactly searching right now.
And you have to have confidence as well in a drive in your ability, because you're over here trying to search for different lines. Man, I'm sorry, not in a road course. Just leave me where I've got it figured out, and I will adjust from there. I don't care. Just let me be consistent and do what I can do.
Yeah, and right there again, the 88 with a different line through the S's with 8 and 9. He was hugging more towards the far side of the track, getting ready to set up turn 10, which is definitely a way to attack that corner and try to maximize speed coming off. And right there, he's using more of the exit curb coming off turn 2, turn 1 leading into 2 and 2A. So he's trying to find different ways to catch up to Andrew Teft in that 98 curb Toyota.
Yeah, I mean, they're running almost identical lap times. Actually, I'll give credit. Andrew Teft, your second place driver, and your leader, Matt, they were almost identical by the hundredth of a second there. So these drivers are trying to figure it out. I think little by little, they certainly are. Maybe not their fastest laps, but even for Matt, maybe, some of those tires have worn out for him as well, where he's just kind of stabilized. Now, granted, the lead is there, so he's okay. But, yeah, I definitely can see that tire wear in that situation. And, while I'm blabbing away here, we have some drivers actually hit pit lane for the first time, where Sean Merriman here in the number 18 Toyota, we saw him go off track earlier, really lose a ton of spots in that process. And so he came down there in lap 8 and put down his fastest lap that last time around. And then Zach Lockett came down on lap 10. So some of these drivers coming in, maybe, for some damage repair, but also maybe try to get themselves at least a little bit of an advantage early on.
Well, I don't think damage repair is going to be that big of an issue with, from what I'm understanding, unlimited fast repairs. So I'm sure they just came down to get fuel and tires as well.
And a fast repair, yeah, perfect.
Which means we are looking at guys who are possibly stopping 3 times.
Well, I mean, you said it, though. If it's going to put you in the most comfortable feel as well, where, you've got the freshest tires, where you've got the most grip under you. I think that you would have had me convinced, say, hey, you know what? You're my teammate. I think you're telling me what's right. I want to feel a little bit more comfortable in a situation where I'm struggling right now with this type of track. So, yeah, go ahead and give me the freshest tires so that at least the tires aren't also working against me.
Right, and the biggest thing here is we're watching Noah Tansman and Kinsley Smith battling for 5th and 6th. The biggest thing is it's getting guys out in open air. And on a road course, open air is king. As we on board with the 15, gotta love this Napa paint job. Such a good throwback to Michael Walker in the BBI days. Right there's the shift in the 4th gear. These guys are hitting 160, 165 miles an hour. Hard on the brakes, dropping it in the 3rd gear. Oh, sideways there. We got somebody who almost went off. I believe that's the 12 of San Filippo.
Yes, and looks like Kinsley will get clear there of Noah as they go through that final turn. That 12 is going to be a little bit slipping and sliding there as well.
Yeah, I think the 12 might have used his stuff up trying to get back on track. Probably pushed it too hard. and probably burn those tires off. So I would expect to see him down pit road in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, he's just not feeling it right there. And you see Noah Tansman as well. He's trying to find a way around Brandon, as Brandon's just trying to find that feel. And, you know, this 15, Kinsley Smith, continues to pick him up and lay them down positions-wise, up 8 spots from his 12th starting spot. He said, all right, you two can figure out who can be 5th, and I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do, because I've got 9 seconds to go track down Troy Thomas now.
Yeah, and the biggest thing, again, and that's the one thing we're going to harp on with road course racing is open air. The bigger the pocket you can get between yourself and somebody else, the better you're going to be able to be, so you can actually be a little bit more cautious and keep the truck on the track. But sometimes being a little bit slower through the corner can make up time down the road.
Oh, man, you see that 12 and how he was just unhappy with that truck once again, you know. And we're coming down to, you know, lap 15 here. I know you want to try to split it as much into thirds as possible, but this would be the time to come in, you know, say, I've used my tires up already. Oh, Kinsley Smith.
15 went off.
Yes, we just missed that. So all that time he was making up, he's got some work now to go try to make that back up again.
And again, it's that problem of turn 8 because it is such a tough and technical double apex corner. I think what happened was he carried a little too much speed going through the first part of the corner. He didn't realize that he might have to downshift on the second part of it, and the truck just ran wide.
And that is unfortunate. There's Andrew Teft and Troy Thomas. Troy, as you mentioned, he's just trying to find anything he can do to keep tracking down Andrew, and we've got a nice, fun battle possibly here for this second position as they get through these very, very tight right-handers.
And I think the 88 was saving a little bit of tire to try to attack before he ends up coming down pit road, and this might be the time to be able to do it.
Very high-speed part, as you mentioned.
Yeah, he's right in the draft right now, but the unfortunate thing is he's going to use a little bit more brake getting into these corners because he's going to be carrying that much more speed. And it looks like it's kind of stabilized about, I'd say about a half a second or so between these two trucks.
Oh boy, and there goes Andrew, very loose in front of him off of turn 10. Now going into turn 1, you just know Troy says, all right, I know you're loose. I sniff it. I'm going to keep getting all up on you as much as I can, and I'm going to keep making you nervous and hope to try to make this pass for second here soon.
Yeah, and I think as the 98 looks like he skated out a little bit in the entrance to turn 2, it looked like he just got on the throttle too hard and the back end wanted to kick out on him. And that's the thing is with the gearing in these trucks, first gear, you can light the tires up really quick coming off of corners over at Moss and definitely coming off of White's corner turn 10.
Love that downhill, then the uphill back into Moss. That is just a beautiful corner to race, you know. That feels like it would be fun in a car that probably is meant to do it.
Well, Formula One did run here in the 60s and 70s, so it was more designed for Formula One, but if you can get it right in any vehicle, it is definitely a blast to do so.
Yeah, that's just how road racing is. You know, it is fun when you've got it figured out. It is just not fun when you don't.
Yeah, it's one of those, if it's fun, you don't need to worry about packing a lunch, but if you're not good, you better put your big boy pants on and have a steel thermos because you're going to have a long day ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. You just saw there the 56 getting into the grass a little bit. Noah having to really back off on that straightaway where he can make up so much of that time. So suffering for him where the 12 is, you know, funny enough, Brandon's back up here into 4th with Kinsley going off track and Noah not being able to make the pass on him. So 12 may be using up his tires, but hey, you know what? Somehow he's still out there in front, you know, of course, with everything that's happened around him.
Yeah, and that's big, especially in the points picture, being up front of these guys. And he'll probably end up making the playoffs if he keeps position where he is right now, but we still got the second half of this race, and anything can still happen.
And, I'm going to have to assume from the looks of this that, see, Alex Teft, he came in on lap 15, so he's going to do your strategy of the split it into thirds. That would be, you know, the exact third, of course, 15, you know, 30 and 45. But most of these other drivers, I mean, Matt, of course, got a 14, 15-second lead almost, so it doesn't really matter what he does compared to the rest of these drivers. But everybody else seems like they're going to be content to maybe try to pull this to the halfway point.
Yeah, and, you know, that would be, honestly, the way to put it in Formula One terms. Most of these guys are on strategy A. Matt Tepp looks like it's strategy B, and that's, again, the two-stop race as a 65 behind these guys. Looks like he just about broke tail.
Yeah, look at this 88. He's going to go to the inside. Andrew says, you know what? You've got it. You've been faster than me. Go ahead. I'll go ahead and fall right back in line. So we got a new second-place driver, and then Dennis Kane coming in from the 8th position here on lap number 18. So he's going to, you know, he's one of those drivers, as we mentioned, trying to make his way into the playoffs today. And Archibald right now is back to the 11th position, so he's actually lost a spot. And then he's actually under attack from Sean Merriman, who's actually come down pit lane and might be a faster truck already. So Philip going in the wrong direction, losing spots while this race continues.
Yeah, and this is the exact reason why a lot of these guys that I thought would be splitting it into thirds, like Teft and Merriman, the fresher tire is going to be the telltale. As Dennis Kane's coming off of pit road, he's going to merge in right around this battle. And, oh, he's going to be side by side with the 99. Oh!
Oh, no! Oh, in contact from behind. Oh, that is unfortunate for the 99.
And it looks like he just got loose on entry into this corner. Again, it could be that braking issue with wheel hop. And that back end of that truck is hurt.
See the 59 truck of truth, Hokie here. He also had a little bit of an incident just a moment ago in this mellow yellow Wrangler 59. I'm sorry, not 56. Oh, and looks like maybe just a little bit too much throttle off corner.
Yeah, it looked like he just got on the throttle just a touch too hard, and the back end of the truck said, nope, I'm good here.
And then Noah and Kensley, man. Kensley's right on him. Oh, actually, Brandon made his way down pit lane there for his first pit stop on lap number 19.
Yeah, he probably said, I'm done with these tires. I need some stickers. Everyone around me is getting a little too quick as the battle between the 15 and the 56 heats up. Looks like, oh, contact between the two.
Oh, a little bit more contact there. Noah going to give him a little bit of a bumper. I don't know. Maybe he didn't appreciate that. I don't know what happened there.
I'm not sure if it was an intentional bumper or if it was one of those he tried to cross him back over and, well, basically pulled a Cole Custer on John Hunter Nemechek and just about hooked him, but...
Oh, and here comes your leader. Matt Slosher's going to go ahead and make his way down pit lane for his first pit stop, but we're going to stay right on in this action because this is a great battle that we're witnessing.
Yeah, and this is probably going to be inside the top three because I'm sure the 88 of Troy Thomas and the 98 of Teff are going to be coming down pit road before long.
Oh!
As the 56 tried to make a dive on that 15 truck and backed out of it, probably quite wisely.
Yeah, I thought for sure maybe that was going to be a wreck between the two of them. The 15 would be sent flying into the wall maybe. As you see the 56 a little bit loose into that corner. Oh, no, but then the 15, into the grass. And that allows Noah to get right back to his inside. Oh, man, these two are putting on a great show. And let's go ahead and throw in Lee Campbell there, that number 14. He's up 13 spots from his starting position as well.
Yeah, I've been watching that 14 truck right now on the ticker. Up 13 spots from where he started. He's probably licking his chops saying, hey, if you two wreck each other, I'm taking advantage of all of this.
Yeah, let's get that view as well of him, as he's trying to see these drivers out in front of him.
Yeah, he's quite easy on the throttle right now, trying to get out of these corners.
Patient.
And I think that's also due to tire wear, so I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys come down pit road in the next lap or two.
And just for a brief moment, we're going to bring up the track map here. You see all the car numbers right there. The one we are focused on is the 14 at the very top. You see him running across the top of the screen down this nice long stretch. And, man, that driver, that 56 in Noah, man, he tags that grass just about every time going through this.
Yeah, he's trying to maximize the entry speed here on the Andretti straightaway before entering the S's. And I can't say I blame him. It's a way to do it. but it's also a fast way to also get the truck upset, as here comes pretty much everybody down pit road.
Yep, here comes the rest of our drivers down pit lane. He's going to hit his marks.
35-mile-an-hour pit road speed.
All right, so that does actually, well, I know you said, I think we might see Andrew Teft pit while some of these drivers battle for a possible top 3 spot, but they decided to pit. Andrew decided he'll go ahead and stay out.
And this could be the undercut for the guys like Thomas Tansman, Kensley Smith, Lee Campbell, and Brandon Honeycutt to try to undercut this Andrew Teft when he decides to come down pit road.
So look what this does right now. It put him 6.5 seconds in front of Matt Schlosser there, with Matt having pit, of course, a couple laps ago. And, of course, Matt is just making a ton of time. If Andrew can, possibly make, stretch it an extra lap or so, that could put him in an opportunity where he only, where he is trying to make it on a one-stopper. And some of these other drivers will be on 2 stops. So him being 35 seconds ahead of Troy Thomas, I can tell you. Okay, he's pitting right now, so I don't think he'll make it around. Never mind, everybody.
No, because you lose about 25, 30 seconds from when you're on pit road, when you hit entrance, through your stop, and then coming off. So he might cycle out to around the guys like Troy Thomas and Kensley Smith, but he's going to have to take about a lap or 2 to get those tires up to snuff.
And just like that, Matt will go ahead and take that lead right back from Teft. And so does this, of course, Thomas, Troy having pit a lap before him, you see him, we'll see how did Troy do coming off of pit lane, because Andrew.
Well, it's going to be a battle with these two.
Oh, he got off pit lane good, but I think Andrew's going to clear him. Wow.
Oh, Andrew will clear him, but he's got stone cold tires where Thomas has had a lap or 2 on his. They're up to temperature.
Yeah, well, so that's going to be key for the 98 here, as you mentioned. Stone cold tires. Do take care of it. Do not overdrive it. Do not let him pressure you. You now have a lap fresher tires than he will for this run, where he gained on you. So go ahead, save your tires a little better. You've got the position in front of him and slightly fresher tires, so you can definitely make it work in your favor. I wonder what happened though for Troy. Maybe he just was very conservative on his outlap with those cold tires.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he was conservative, but yet again, a lot of people are going to be, especially those who aren't used to road course racing, because they don't want to fly off the course, because there's a lot of places around this track where there's not a whole lot of runoff, and concrete and Armco are waiting for them.
So 4.5 seconds on that pit lane time there for Andrew over Troy. That was the time that he made up that he had already lost with Troy being on those fresher tires.
Yeah, he maximized getting onto pit road, and he maximized coming off pit road. And that's crucial to be able to undercut somebody.
I mean, that could be the difference between him finishing second or third here tonight. And Kensley Smith, he put down his fastest lap of the day, of course, having pit. So he's just trying to finally get away from Noah Tansman. And then there is Lee Campbell. Where was the other driver that we had that was part of this group, I thought?
That I'm not sure. I'm trying to look up and down this right now.
Oh, it was Brandon, the 12.
Yeah, he lost 10 spots. There must have been something that went wrong with that truck, because he looks relatively slower than everybody else right now.
Well, I do see he actually made a second pit stop the lap after he had pit, and it was only for 0.3 seconds. So I have to assume he probably wrecked it on the cold tires, and he had to come back down and use a faster pair.
Well, it could have been that, or it could have been a stop-and-go penalty for maybe too fast exiting. That can
that
happen.
could be, yeah.
It could be a stop and go for too fast entering, because sometimes that pit road line will come up quick on you here.
Yeah, I mean, because you're also trying to maximize as much as you can, because you're getting into pit, like the pit entrance, but the timing line is still further down. Kind of, if you're for those drivers, or those fans right now listening who don't recognize the track, but if you recognize Sonoma and how Sonoma, you have a nice big arcing turn when you can go as fast as you want with, of course, as long as you don't hit the wall until you hit that timing line. So if you're trying to maximize it, sometimes those drivers are just a little bit too quick and can't get slowed up in time before that line.
Yeah, and unfortunately that will end up leading to stop-go penalties, and unfortunately it may have bit the 12 of San Filippo.
Yeah, gonna bite him pretty hard. So right now we're gonna be coming down to about 20 laps to go for the Racers Elite Truck Series here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. As your leader, your pole sitter in Matt Slosher, and that number 40 Chevy Silverado builds what has been an absolutely impressive lead. We're going to go ahead and hit our first commercial break here of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we will be right back as you see the 43 of Alex Teff sideways there on the track as the number 40 went by. We'll be right back, everybody. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here live from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park with the Racers Elite Truck Series. I am Angel Santiago, joined by my broadcasting partner here, Shane. Shane, we're having really, now with just about 19 laps to go, these drivers are going to have to make they will have to make one more stop for another, for just a little bit of a top off and, well, just 4 fresh fuel goods.
Or in the case of this 40 truck, the way he's got this lead built up, he could just go cruise control from here and go complete race management, because there's nobody in the rearview mirror and there's nobody in the windshield. He is completely checked out on everybody. Yeah,
35 seconds right now for this number 40. Honestly, if I were him, I would be clutching it every single corner. I would be in 4th gear probably almost the entire way around the track, and just guarantee that I can make it. I don't even know. I don't know. What he can do? Take 4 tires now and he could have all sorts of ideas for that number 40.
Lewis, this is Toto. We need you to coast more. That would be the one way to save fuel, is coasting more around this track. I spoke French and I just brought in a Formula 1 driver. I am on my game tonight.
Far more than I would be able to, that's for sure. I can barely do English and Spanish here, so.
I can barely keep up on a road course except get lucky once in a while. There's no way I'd have a 35-second lead.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, for those of you guys watching, I don't think you understand how downright impressive this is, because this is a big difference.
He's on the other side of the track getting ready to hit the start-finish line, while Tep looks like he's getting ready to go into turn 3.
Okay, let me bring the track map back up for everybody. So here we are with the 98. You see that very tight 2 corners there at the very far left, and then you see he's going to take a little bit of a bend and a nice long straight. That's what the 98 is. You want to look for that number 40. He just crossed that start-finish line, that red line across the track. Now a nice big winding turn. When Shane said he's clear across the other side of the track, he was not kidding. But I needed to put this in a little bit more of maybe a visual perspective for some to see.
Let's put it this way. 35 seconds is an eternity in most sports, period. But in motorsports, it is an ungodly eternity, because that is basically a pit stop plus on this track. And that is just an unbelievable dominating performance at this point right now for Matt Schlosser.
And impressive at that. So how about this? Let's go ahead and go take our fans here through the field. Let's go ahead and go back up to Matt. He is from Frederick, Maryland. Then Andrew Teff from Hope Valley, Rhode Island, league owner here for Racers Elite. So enjoying himself a nice second place run right now, about almost 7 seconds. So he's getting a ton more time on Troy Thomas. So I think Andrew may be just driving the wheels off of this time around. Not sure exactly. Troy himself being from Boone, North Carolina. You have Kensley Smith finally clearing his way into that 4th position from Tarboro, North Carolina. And then rounding out your top 5 from Boston Spa, New York, is that number 14, who coincidentally is up 14 spots.
Yeah, and he looks like he's got a little bit of right rear damage. Where that came from.
Hold on. Oh, that is correct. He might have, you know what, might have been that battle with Kensley up there and Noah, the way those drivers were on top of each other.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case.
Move over to our only Ford here in the field. Well, I guess rightly so that he'll be from Detroit, Michigan. Dennis Kane in the 6th position right now. Noah Tansman, have an opportunity to speak a little bit about him from Waltham, Massachusetts in that number 56 Chevrolet. Truth Hoke from Hickory, North Carolina. So we got quite a few drivers here from that North Carolina region. Brandon Honeycutt from Elizabethton, Tennessee. I hope I said that right. And then Sean Merriman, he's from Winchester, Virginia. He's going to round out your top 10.
Yeah, as we're looking at Brandon Sanfilippo. This poor guy, I'm telling you.
Does he have anything come up for him?
It's rough. It's rough. Curtis Ecker is up 3 positions in that number 19 Menards truck. I'm digging the paint job on that thing. The American flags down the side and on the bed cover. I'm digging that. Yeah,
hold on just a moment. Before we move over to the next driver, let's get a little bit of a better view of this thing, honestly, because you're right. This is a good view. There's that. Team America. There we go.
America!
You had to say it better than I could, that's for sure. Oh, goodness. Oh, as he goes off track. Oh, no, in contact with the 65 as well. And Brandon Zimmerman as they 2 battle.
Oh, now you got to wonder how much damage is done to those trucks.
Pretty decent front end damage for the 65. Oh, and he's going to go around right in front of the 14. some of your lead lap trucks there. As he tries to get it back going. Oh, and there goes a 99 come flying right behind him. Do we have oil on the track over here?
Toto, it's raining on the track. I need intermediates. It's not raining, Lewis.
Okay. Wow.
I think the tires are starting to get worn out. That 19 does look a little bit hurt, though.
That right side. Oh, yeah. That right front as well has got some decent damage to it. It doesn't look like maybe suspension-wise, but you never know what the steering might look like. So we'll keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, the 65 caught him flush in that right front. I wouldn't be surprised if the toe's not bent a little bit on that truck. Zach Lockett, what a rough day he's had. Oh, I feel for the guy. He had such a great run at Las Vegas last week in that Pink Whitney Toyota, but apparently road courses aren't his bag, and he's currently down in 13th position.
Yeah, definitely not happy. That driver from Vestal, New York. Brandon Zimmerman, we had just mentioned him. With that number 65 from Gloucester. I don't...
Gloucester.
Gloucester, okay. Philip Arkbald not having the night he wants right now. Back in the 15th position from Meadow Lake. Not even going to try it. He's 10 spots behind Dennis Kane, and he came in 10 points ahead of him, so he's got to make sure he doesn't lose any more positions from here on out. But right now, the last truck on the before the next one's almost 2 laps behind him and Alex Teff. So really, Philip, just hang on and play it safe where you can.
Yeah, and right now, all he can do is just ride and maybe hope a couple of trucks in front of him have problems and pick up positions later on, but it's not looking promising. He's down 5 spots from where he qualified. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be the points night he's been looking for.
No, it is not. We have actually Alex Teft. He's going to be not the first to the beer stand. Our very own Alan Bergen didn't even make the start to tonight's race, so he made it. He decided he wasn't going to get in the truck. He was going to go straight to the beer stand himself. So, Alan, we'll give you credit for that one. Then Kirby Wainscott from Sparta, Kentucky. Trevor Woodward from Lindsay, wherever that may be. And then Jason Bottoms there in the 17th position also has checked out for tonight's race. So we'll go ahead and jump back over here to your leader in Matt, and then number 40. He's now up to 40 seconds as Kensley Smith, your third place truck, has now made his way down pit lane.
And he took Lee Campbell with him, so they might be trying to split this final part up in half, which could be a smart move down the road because everyone's starting to struggle for grip just a little bit more. And it looks like a couple other trucks came in. Dennis Kane and Brandon Zimmerman as well.
Yes, Brandon Zimmerman right behind, and yeah, so quite a few drivers making their way down. Brandon Honeycutt's making his way down pit lane as well. So, yeah, a lot of drivers say, you know what, if you're going to pit, I guess it's a good time to go ahead and come down pit lane.
Well, they're going to end up getting lapped right now by Matt Schlosser, but I got a feeling he might be in before long himself because he's going to give up way too much time on those old tires, but yet again, that's the only thing he'd be giving up. But come on, almost 45 seconds of a gap. He can afford that. Yeah,
he might be. There's a chance that he might be the only driver completing 45 laps here tonight, and maybe that's why some of these drivers, said, "Oh, wait a minute, we're gonna have 1 lap less actually to complete. So let's go ahead, come in down, get my fresh tires immediately. If I'm suffering, go ahead. If I might complete 1 lap less, why not? Go ahead and throw that into your calculations."
And the thing is, this could also be point strategy for these guys as well.
Oh, I think that's a great idea as well. You see the 14, Lee Campbell, and he overdrove himself a little bit. He's just trying to get his truck up to and his tires up to that heat that he needs.
And with all of those pit stops, currently only 6 trucks on the lead lap. So this has been nothing short of exceptional for this 40 truck. As we had the 99 look like he spun off right in front of him.
Oh, no, man. 99 definitely not having a great evening for himself. And you see the 59, or Truth Hoke, he's going to go sideways there. And I think make his way down pit lane. But I don't think that's a legal entrance to pit lane, was it, for that 59?
Probably close, but as long as you're checked up by the timing line, I think you're okay.
The timing line, yes, but I think he came onto it at a weird angle because I think you have to take the entrance road.
I think you do, but I've seen. I know I checked up a couple of times in my practice laps trying to get on pit road, jumped the curb, then jumped back and didn't have a penalty. So I don't know how they'll rule that here. We'll have to wait and see what race control decides to do.
Yeah, we'll have to wait how that gets decided. And then Troy Thomas, he actually pit there on lap 30, so he really undercut because he had about, I think last time we checked, almost 6-7 seconds behind Andrew Teft in that second place. So he had time that he needed to make up. And for Andrew, well, I guess you don't really have, any pressure at this point. Next driver is 27 seconds back. You had 7 seconds over Troy, and I don't think he'll be making up 7 seconds on you over this over the next 10 to 15 laps, even with you pitting. So, but it could really work out for Troy as well, as long as he hits his marks.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Again, you can also fall into kind of that lull of complacency, knowing, hey, I've got this much of a gap between myself and the truck in front of me. I got this much of a gap between myself and the truck behind me. And you might end up catching yourself sleeping and end up going off or putting a wheel wrong, putting yourself in a bad position. Next thing you know, both gaps could be erased.
And as a driver, there, Lee Campbell just put down his fastest lap of the evening in that number 14 from the 6th position. So he's trying to make up where he can. About 7, almost 8 seconds behind Troy Thomas. Not a ton of time to make up in front of him. And then I noticed that Dennis Kane, he as well has fallen to the 7th position, but that's also because Kensley and Noah, the 15 and 56 trucks, in 3rd and 4th position, they have Kensley has made his next pit stop, so it's just Noah who hasn't made his next pit stop just yet.
Yeah, so Kensley's going to be good to go from here on out. There's going to be a few other trucks that are going to be good to go, so now it's a matter of whose strategy is going to play out the quickest. As we see the 56, well, coming down pit road too.
There you go. He said, all right, I'm ready to come down pit lane. Go ahead and take my final 4 fresh fuel goods as Matt comes across, and he will now put your top 5 1 lap down and 8 seconds behind Troy Thomas from making it top 4 possibly. But he still has to make his way down pit lane one more time as well for Matt, so let's not forget that.
That's if he decides to come down pit road. He could decide just to coast it, because that big of a gap, there's no way anyone's going to catch him unless he stuffs it in the tire.
Yeah.
So I've got a feeling that at this point, he's going to end up just going complete race management mode from here. I mean, that's what I'd do.
Yeah, but his last lap time was still a second quicker than your second place driver. So he's still got no problem picking them up and laying them down regardless, I think.
Well, the biggest thing that I'm noticing with him is being smooth on this road course, and that's the best way to drive it. He's not using a whole lot of curb. He's not taking a whole lot of runoff. He's just effortless right now at this point in that Jegs 40 truck. And that's a fast way to win races, is just being smooth here. I mean, take a look at this. He's barely on the curbs through 8. A little bit of curb at turn 9. Downshifting into... No, he doesn't even downshift into turn 10. He left it in second gear. Takes that runoff and brings it back across the line, heading down into turn 1. He actually shifted into 3rd, getting into turn 1, and then drops it back into 2nd. So it's a little bit of a different attack style for turn 1.
He didn't downshift there either. I wonder. That's in part saving his tires, but also saving fuel if you're not having to downshift and using those higher revs.
Well, he downshifted right there going through 3, but he waited till he was in the middle of the corner to downshift right at the lowest point. So again, that's saving just that little bit of gas, just in case. And right there, you can kind of hear him downshift a little bit as well, getting ready to head into Moss Corner 5A and 5B. Right there, he drops it back into 1st gear, getting ready to head down Andretti straight. And I'm just curious to see how long he's going to be on the throttle before braking zone, because if he's using a little bit more lift and coast, that's going to save him that extra tenth or two of a gallon as well. Right there, so easy on the brake, downshifting it in the third, downshifting in the second. Now he's taking a whole lot of curb, so I guess he decided to try to shut me up about the curb usage.
Yeah, he said, no, I wanted to use it. I just didn't get to use it as much last time. And
well, you know how drivers are. They love shutting commentators up.
well, and they like to remind me why I commentate and don't know, and I don't race. Well, I race, I do, but no, I don't do as good.
Yeah, we all have our struggles. Trust me. I had a few of them this last few weeks.
I've had a nice couple of last weeks actually. There's this Thursday night race league that I recently joined, and it's the ARCA cars. I didn't have much to think about going in, but 6 races in, and I've got 5 top 10, so I'm pretty happy. I'm sitting third in points, and the outlier, I think, out of most of the guys in the top 10, because I just barely got my first top 5, while everybody has maybe, I think, 2. So, but you know what? Just keep getting points where you can.
Yep. Pick up on everyone else's mistakes, and we'll find a way up to the field.
Yeah, I mean, it was very... Originally, you know, Shane, I said, no, I'm only going to do part-time. I'm not going to do full-time, because I was planning on doing full-time Tuesday nights. And then it really worked out Thursdays where I said, well, I might just have to stay full-time and see how much longer I can stay, you know, at least top 5 in points. And so I switched to part-time Tuesdays, and, well, that opened up my availability to do this. And then the 40's going to open up himself to come down pit lane and make his final pit stop of the day. 51 seconds ahead of Andrew Teft.
And he's going to still have about I'm going to ballpark 15-second gap by the time he comes off of pit road. So this is what happens when this is a prime example of like Max Verstappen putting the butt kicking on everybody.
Yeah, this is exactly that.
Making the pit stop, still get fresh tires, still take off, and everyone else is still in his rearview mirror, and he doesn't even see it.
I still think we did a better job talking about it. We ought to be. We ought to be over there. Yeah, no, and just like that, Matt comes right back off pit lane, and he's got himself a nice 51-second lead. So, he's gonna go on cruise control. I mean, Andrew's got to gain. I'm sorry, not a 51-second lead. Now that it's finally reset itself, I was like, no, it was 51 seconds before that. All right, now that it's finally reset itself, we're now down to a 28-second lead for Matt. So, yeah, cruise control, 6 laps. All you got to do is just relax from here.
He has literally just got to throw it in cruise control mode. I mean, just hit that button on the dash and just relax the rest of the way. Because you do that, you're going to be sitting in victory lane.
Like Thomas in our... didn't want joining into our chat. He said Matt is out for a Tuesday cruise. He said someone tell Matt to stop and get some ice cream. And Alan said
what is this, Days of Thunder?
I think so. He might be some Days of Thunder. Instead of the crew saying they're getting some ice cream, it's gonna be I think in this situation, this is gonna be Talladega Nights. He's getting a chicken sandwich, gonna get himself an ice cream cone.
I gotta make a few phone calls. I'm gonna finish this chicken sandwich, and then I'll be right there, guys.
Exactly. That might be the better situation we're looking for. And then Alan as well said he didn't want to ruin someone's race if he couldn't really make a lap. So Alan just decided to do the noble thing and bow out and not get in someone's way. Considering it is a season the regular season finale. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, right now, I'm just blown away by how consistent this 40 truck has been this race, because you do not see performances like this on a road course, like I said, unless you're watching Formula One. And this has been an absolute dominator by this 40 truck.
And you know what I find interesting? I think the 15 of Kenzie Smith may have only taken right side tires with a 6-second stop, because he's now put himself 5 seconds ahead of Troy Thomas, and Troy's catching him without a doubt. But I don't know if Troy will have enough time necessarily to catch him over the next 4 to 5 laps. So we might have a fun battle here for third as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility of it being right side. We didn't see the pit stop. It might have just been even gas only just to get through to the end. So who knows? But we're going to be interested to see what happens. As I think Brandon Honeycutt had a problem.
He had a problem there, and I'm going to say if it will stem from that 6-second pit stop he also had. So mentioning probably right side. Oh, no, actually, that's Matt, your leader. So I think he may have just pulled off entirely for Matt to go by him. That might have been what the 13 was doing.
Yeah, it could have been as well. Just getting out of the way. He knows that, he's still got a top 10 pretty much secure. So just get out of the way. He knows, there's no way anyone's going to keep up with that 40 truck. So just get out of the way and live to race another lap.
Yeah, and I think that's a very smart decision on his part as well. If he did not take tires or only those right sides or whatever tires he may have taken to try to get himself through the end of the race. As your next closest battle looks like it would be the 9th position between Zach Lockett and Truth Hoke.
Looks like Truth is taking a slightly different line through that 2-2-way combination, and it looks like Zach is having a little bit of struggle with that truck, getting a little bit tight on him on exit.
Oh, Zach actually short pitted. He pitted on lap 25 to make it to the end. So that shows Zach's just on older tires. Yeah, he just said, "Go on by, Truth. I know you got newer stuff than I do. I'm just trying to make it to the end of this race."
Yeah, and the fact is, I think Zach knows he's also got a huge gap to that 19 truck, and probably knows that 19 won't catch him until stuffs it. So.
Yeah, and then what's that 1 point going to be worth possibly wrecking it, after putting in this much work to make it to this part of the race?
Exactly. So this makes more sense. Just pull over. Someone else is quicker. Let him go and live to survive.
And I think it's going to be very interesting to see 10 points that separated Dennis Kane and Archibald here into tonight's race. And I think that Sean Merriman, the number 18, actually has parked it for the evening. I'm not showing a speed for him.
Yeah, he parked it.
In which that allowed Philip to move up to the 14th position and gain one more spot. I think that might be enough for him to make it because, again, 10 points coming into tonight's race. Dennis Kane sits right now in the 6th position, 14 and a half seconds behind the 5th place car of Lee Campbell, who might as well be our biggest mover of tonight's race.
Yeah, he's plus 14, and doing that on a road course, that is impressive. I mean, we're giving Schlosser his flowers because of the butt kicking he's giving everybody, but that 14 truck deserves a nice lay or two as well because of moving up 14 spots on the grid.
I mean, put this into perspective, everybody. He started 19th, and he's going to be finishing in the top 5. That is unreal.
That's a drive of a lifetime right here, especially in 45 laps around such a technical circuit with a vehicle that hates being technical.
Well, and oh man, I think that's because they're so dang stiff. I think you said that perfectly. And really, he'll have the second fastest lap of the race behind Matt. So somebody who definitely probably could have been competing with Andrew for that second position, possibly.
Oh, easily. And with just a couple of laps left, we're coming up on 2 to go. This 40 truck, 38 seconds on the field. Wow.
There it is. Comes through turn 10. There'll be 1 lap to go. White flag for him this time around.
This is unbelievable for this 40 truck.
Yeah, that last time he was 3 seconds faster than Andrew. Oh, you know what? Andrew actually is going to try to stretch it all the way. He's got 16 seconds over Kensley Smith. But he's got a long way to go. I mean, because he still hasn't come across the line, so he still has over a lap to complete if he wants to be able to make it to the end of this race. And he's definitely trying to stretch it over the last couple laps here.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he's just pulling a complete stretch job, just kind of coasting. But he's got enough of a gap. He could definitely get the job done and just keep that thing in second.
Wow. To show that. He was 2 seconds slower the previous lap. Now 4 seconds slower that time than Kensley in that third position. And Kensley also either did not take tires or only took 2. So he's not going to catch you all that quick with his tires. So I think this is a great, whether it was the original idea for Andrew or not, great strategy move to go ahead and say, you know what, he's not going to catch me. Let me go ahead and coast as much as I can as we come across. Go ahead.
I was about to say, there's no one catching this 40 truck. Matt Schlosser gets the regular season victory here at Mosport.
What a fantastic finish there for Matt. We might get his interview started and finished before Andrew comes back across the line. We'll see.
More than likely, because there's still basically another 25, 30 seconds before they get back to the field.
All right.
Looks like Teft is actually going to end up finishing second here. As it looks like we got a little drift display here.
I actually don't see Matt in the waiting room, actually. Or, sorry, at all.
Oh, where is he?
I just realized Driving Extreme Inc. has 3 Brandons. Brandon Honeycutt, Brandon San Filippo, and then Brandon Zimmerman. I love that.
Yeah, I don't see the 40 sitting here at all.
All right. So let's bring in our third place finisher then for Kensley Smith. Kensley, this is Angel and Shane here in the SRM broadcast booth. You got us.
Yes, sir.
Well, a hard-fought battle for third, we can say, because you really had to work for it on a couple occasions here tonight, as we were so happy to be able to win this on broadcast. Some great action, some great battling. Kensley, you moved up 9 spots starting back there in the 12th position. Did you expect to have top 5, top 3 speed, or did you just get a back qualifying lap? Walk us through, really, your race tonight as well.
I wasn't looking forward to this because I'm not a road racer at all, but a lot of practice has helped me this week. But yeah, my qualifying time was completely off what I was actually running in practice and stuff. I just had a really bad qualifying session.
I think that is fair, especially when you get on such cold tires in the process. So you mentioned not really being much of a road racer. You come in here, you were second in points into tonight's race, more than likely taking the points lead, leaving this actually only 4 points behind Brandon Zimmerman coming into tonight's race. So hard fought battle. Zimmerman didn't have quite the night he was looking for, finishing back in 13th. So this got to give a nice little confidence boost here as the playoffs start.
Yeah, it's a real good confidence boost. Just knowing that I finished the season at the top just gives you that little bit more confidence to go into the playoffs thinking you can be the champion. It just gives you that little bit of boost. Zimmerman is actually my teammate. We were in the call together. He was fussing and fussing because he hates road courses. So
Brandon, I understand.
He's a little disappointed, but I'm pretty sure he'll probably finish second in the points. So he'll be happy with that.
So next week we head to Richmond, and how does that fall into the wheelhouse here of our regular season champion?
I know the last Richmond race that we ran in this league, it wasn't in the trucks, but it was in the next gen cars. I won that one. So I'm looking forward to it. I know fairly well how to get around that track, and I've won there, so I'm pretty confident.
Oh, and you go from 200 to 160 laps, so you have 40 fewer laps as well to be able to get that done. Kensley, who do you have to thank and shout out for your third place finish, but also, I guess, most importantly, the regular season championship as well?
I'd like to thank my wife and my daughter for allowing me to do this, taking away a little bit of their time, but they they allow me to do it, and they like watching it, so it's a win-win. And then of course my team, Driving Extreme Inc. We're working really good together, and um, I think I think all of us that race in the trucks have made the playoffs, so all four of us will be in there fighting for the championship. And then, of course, SRM and you guys for putting on the broadcast for us tonight, and Andrew for putting on the league for us.
Yep, and actually, points have been updated. You are officially the regular season champion by 6 points over Brandon, and it will be 1, 2, 3 at the top of the standings for the team Driving Extreme. So congratulations to you guys, and we'll see you next week at Richmond.
Thank you, guys.
Shane, I'll bring in Andrew, and then I will let you handle Matt as our winner from there.
Go for it.
All right, we're gonna bring in our second place finisher, but also the chief here of the Racers Elite Truck Series, or overall Racers Elite. But Andrew Teft, this is Angel and Shane here in the SRM broadcast booth. You got us, buddy.
Yeah, I got you. How's it
Well,
going?
I'm glad that you're able to get the points updated before we brought you into the booth. You know, we didn't have to bother you there, and so a great battle overall, good races, good racing. I'm sorry here tonight, and you know you had to do a lot of fuel saving on that final run. Andrew, was that your original plan, or did things just kind of work out with stuff happening behind you that you said, you know what, let's just coast it and try to save as much as we can to the end?
Yeah, I don't think I had Matt's speed, so I just decided to take a different route and hope for the best. And it seemed like the best bet for me, even though it was kind of a long shot. I think I want to say before he had come in for the second time, I think he was like already 50 seconds ahead. So I knew he could come down, take four tires if he wanted to, and still probably come out in front of me. So yeah, he's super fast. Congrats to him. I think that was still my best play, even though I didn't really know how it was gonna turn out.
And I think it gave us some fun here in the broadcast booth, at least Andrew, because we just kept figuring out, oh, is he gonna save? Can he save enough? What's gonna happen here? Oh, that lap was 2 seconds. Oh, no, that lap was 4 seconds slower. So definitely a blast to be able to watch that. You know, picking up your third top five of the season. You head to Richmond next week. You're in the playoffs. What's the goal from here, and how does the next couple of races on top of Richmond, how does that fit into your style as a driver?
Um, I had a lot of equipment failure last season, so I'm excited to start this one off on some good footing. Yeah, pretty optimistic overall. We're ending the playoffs at, not the playoffs, the chase at Atlanta this year. So, and it's been very competitive in general. A lot of different winners, a lot of people that can win every race. So I'm just excited in general, regardless of how it plays out, to watch it all unfold.
Yeah, I think we're excited here in the booth, and I know definitely everybody watching on our YouTube channel excited for that as well. So Andrew, go ahead, shout out the last of who you got to shout out for everything that you do, of course, running this league. We know it's not an easy task, and it's typically a thankless one as well. From personal, spoken from personal experience. So, but yeah, nonetheless, congratulations there on your top three. Andrew, go ahead and shout out those friends and family as well.
Yeah, you guys, as always, over at SRM, some racing media, do a fantastic job. Our servicemen and women, my family, for letting me play all the time. Everybody that shows up to race and tunes in to watch, can't do it without you. If anybody is interested in checking us out, just head on over to racerselite.com. You can find all the info there, invites to our Discord servers, info on upcoming single events, our league schedules, the whole nine yards.
Absolutely. If anybody has any questions, about this, and they, even if want to reach out, we'll be happy to send them your way, Andrew, and get them joined to what's been a fun series. I know for a lot of these drivers across all the different types of vehicles that you race. So congratulations again on a great finish and making the playoffs. We'll see you next week at Richmond.
Yeah, thanks. And I just wanted to say thoughts to Dennis's family.
All right, thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate that. Thoughts to Dennis's family in their tough time. And Shane, I'll go ahead and let you cap off our race winner here tonight.
Matt Schlosser, Shane and Angel in the broadcast booth, buddy. You got a copy?
Hey, yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
We ought to call you Max Verstappen for that butt kicking you just gave everybody, man. How did you do it?
That's kind words from you there. Yeah, I just fortunately I've run a good number of road racing on iRacing. I've done a lot of different stuff, and I'm familiar with this track and comfortable with the truck and on road courses. So it was it was hard work. I mean, definitely a difficult track. Had to stay focused and not make any mistakes. Luckily, I had a clean run, but yeah, it was a good result for sure.
Next week, I guess everybody's going to be at Richmond for the start of the postseason. Are we going to be able to see you there as well?
I'm not sure. I'm doing part-time this season, so I'll try to make it, but if not, good luck to everybody who's starting the chase and everything. So hope to make it, but we'll have to see as it gets closer.
Oh, for sure, buddy. It was a thrill watching you lay down those laps today. You made me a little bit jealous because, as I was telling everyone in the broadcast, my only Truck Series win came on a road course as well, and it wasn't even by this much of a dominating fashion. So you put me to shame, and I'm pretty good on road courses myself. Is there anybody you want to thank before we let you go celebrate this win?
Yeah, thanks to my team, Full Send Esports. Thanks to Andrew and the leadership of the league for putting on a great league and for having me out. And thanks to you guys at SRM. Appreciate you guys doing your thing. And shout out to my sponsor, Old Mother Brewing Co. And yeah, that's all I got.
Hey, man, go celebrate this win. You really put it to them tonight, man. Great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
You too.
All right, what a great opportunity to speak with that winner there. So we'll go ahead and bring up our race results here for tonight's race, and an amazing finish that we overall, race that we had finish wise. Just got to speak with the winner, Matt, in the number 40 truck, Andrew Teft in second, Kensley Smith in third, Troy Thomas would finish in fourth. Lee Campbell comes home in the fifth position. We mentioned he would be our biggest mover here of tonight's race, up 14 spots. Dennis Kane gonna finish there in the sixth position. Brandon Honeycutt in seventh. Noah Tansman in eighth. Truth Hoke in ninth. Zach Lockett gonna round out the top 10. Curtis Ecker in 11th. 12th belonged to Brandon Sanfilippo with whatever issues that did occur for him that would cost him what could have been a top 5 or top 10 finish. Brandon Zimmerman 13th, Philip Archibald 14th, and then Sean Merriman would be your top 15.
And unfortunately, those who had days cut short, Alex Teft in 16th, Jason Bottoms in 17th, Trevor Woodward 18th. 19th went to Kirby Wainscott and our own Alan Bergen. Unfortunately, first one to the beer stand, enjoying a couple of cold ones, as I'm sure he was watching Matt just put the lick into everybody today. That was purely impressive.
I definitely wouldn't have mind maybe joining in for that. A couple of cold ones. But before we do close out, we will have to mention that finishing in the 14th position, Philip Archibald in that number 99, he will hold on to make the playoffs by a grand total of 2 points over Dennis Kane. So what a fantastic job there for Philip. I'm sure he was just trying to hang on for dear life. And you know what? He will survive to be able to make the playoffs and make it on to next week.
Well, he did everything he had to do. Unfortunately, I don't think Dennis Kane had anything to catch up to Lee Campbell at the end of this race. Philip, sometimes luck is on your shoulder, and this time it was definitely that point.
And making it in by just 2 points, unreal. And you never know where those 2 points could have come from all season long. So, Shane, it was a genuine pleasure to have brought to you this regular season finale here from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park for the Racers Elite Truck Series. I look forward to our next opportunity. But aside from that, I thank everyone again for joining us here on the Sim Racing Media Network. If you have not already, make sure you do like, share, subscribe. We've got plenty of action going on here on the Sim Racing Media Network. As a matter of fact, you can jump on over, and Extreme Motorsports should be going on right now with their next event. And, well, as always, throughout the entire week, we have our shows that we get to put on. So thank you again, everybody, for tonight. My broadcasting partner, Shane, myself, Angel, and everyone here from the Sim Racing Media Network. Have a great night, everybody.
Until we meet again, everybody, please do take care. Bon nuit.